Hi, you're listening to Kate Palmer from sparkletart.com.
While browsing on the web, I saw someone had actually glued their Essentials craft sheet to their desk so that they didn't have to keep putting it away and getting it back out when they wanted to use it. I thought this was a great idea, but I didn't want to glue it to my desk, so this is my take on that idea. I'm going to use some heat-proof tape, and I'm going to use the Wonder tape from Essentials, which is about the only heat-proof tape that I'm aware of. And I'm going to use this to glue my Essentials craft mat to my cutting mat. I'm using a double-sided cutting mat. If yours is not double-sided, make sure that you stick your craft mat to the reverse side so that you can still use it as a cutting mat. So to do that, I'm just going to make a few little marks as guides on where to trim the mat. So I'm going to cut it there, and I'm going to cut it down here. Here I have a glass cutting mat and a nice sharp little craft blade, and I've got my little ruler, and I'm just going to line up the edge of the craft mat with the little orange guidelines. Now, I'm sure you guys know that you're never supposed to actually cut on your craft mat because it damages the little glass fibers. Wow, okay, that's why you shouldn't ever cut on it. The craft knife goes right through that like butter. For any of you who haven't seen this ruler before, it's got little guidelines along the width of the ruler as well, not just the length. So you can use these to cut things straight. It's been a real lifesaver several times for me. Now one side is just plain plastic and the other side has a little metal edge, which is perfect for cutting. Wow, and you can see how easily that trimmed that off. That's why you should never use a blade on your craft mat. It just goes right through. Now this other end is going to be slightly more tricky because my little mark is up here and I won't really be able to use the ruler. So what I'm going to need to do is measure it and put a few little marks the whole way along. As my dad always says, measure twice, cut once. That's really important here to make sure that you don't let the mat slip. Okay, so I'm just going to stick it down here. Apply the magic tape to each edge. You want to try and get it as close to the edge as you can, but don't let any of it sneak over because it'll just attract dirt and dust and end up really gummy and disgusting. Now I like to keep these back in the bag because otherwise they collect cat fur at my place. Lots of cat fur. Now this next step you need to be quite gentle and quite careful because you're only going to get one go, otherwise you'll have to start again and the tape is not cheap. So I like to pry up just a little bit of each corner and sort of stick the little piece of plastic out to the edges. And this is how I mount my cards as well. So this is what I do to the tape at the back. Sometimes you need to press to make sure it's stuck down before you peel up the edge. And again, it just makes sort of a little sticky outy bit. And what I'm trying to do here is touch as little as possible, because the more of it you touch, the less sticky it is. Now once you've got a little tab at each corner, make sure that each of the little tabs is poking out. One down here, another one here, because you're going to use that to rip off the adhesive tape. Now doing it this way means you can place it where you want it by pressing down in the middle only and kind of lining up all the edges so it's nice and neat. Okay, now from here just push down on each of those corners, making sure the middle's flat, just to give it something to hold on to. So flatten it out, making sure there are no lumps and bumps in the middle here. And then starting from one side, remove the tape. Now it makes it surprisingly easy. That's why I use this method for mounting cards as well. So let me just go to the next section, just there. Now just carefully run a finger over the edges here. Now be careful of any little glass fibres. You don't really want those in your finger. I don't think they're difficult to get out, but I imagine they might rather hurt. So I can see a few poking up there. And there you have it. This is now going to stay dead flat. It's over a craft mat, and when I'd like to cut, I just have to flip it over. And I'll be right to go.
Thanks so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.